In this video, I want to look at what happens to your view range when you have a linked file. So I'm going to work in this simple office building file that I have here, and I'm in the level 1 floor plan, and I'll just simply zoom out, and I'm going to add a link to this file. So I'll go to the Insert tab, click Link Revit, and I've got a file called Restaurant that I want to link in here. And I'm going to link it by shared coordinates. I've previously set up a shared coordinate system, which will put this link file in its correct location relative to the office building. So let's go ahead and open that up. If you want to learn more about shared coordinates, you can check out the course Managing Location and Coordinates here in the library. Now, when the file comes in, it comes in the correct location. That's based on the shared coordinate system. But if you zoom in, it doesn't quite look right. Something seems a little off. It doesn't feel finished, right? You know, we've got the outline of the overall walls and so on, but there's no doors and windows, and it's missing any furnishings. You know, the stairs are showing, but just something doesn't seem quite right about it. Well, to explain what's going on, I'm going to open up the south elevation, and I'll do that by just double-clicking this elevation symbol right here on screen. And there is the file displayed off to the side here. And the reason that we're seeing it the way it is if I zoom in nice and close here, I'm going to select the level 1 level indicator in the office building. Right here above it, there's this little 3D icon. And if you hover over it, it says switch to 2D extents. I'll click that, grab this little dot, and start to drag it to the right. Now let me zoom back out and drag it far enough to the right that you can kind of see what the problem is. So this is level 1 in the linked file, and this is level 1 in our host file. And notice that they are some distance apart from one another. So what's actually happening is we're measuring the cut plane for the view range from this level 1, and it ends up maybe right about here, which is nearly at where the second floor is. It's just a little below the second floor in our restaurant. And so we're cutting at this much higher location, which is not giving us the correct graphics. So that's the problem. How do we solve it? Well, we really have two solutions that we can entertain. One we discussed in the previous video. So if you want to go to the View tab, Plan Views, and add a plan region, you could do that. You could sketch the plan region around the restaurant building and then just simply lower the view range within that plan region, and it would cut it correctly based on its own settings rather than the host view settings. Another alternative is there's quite a bit of customization that we can do to the link itself with respect to its visibility graphics. So like anything with visibility graphics, it'll affect the current view. So we're in level 1 floor plan, and I'll go to visibility graphics here in the View tab, visibility graphics, or you can type VG. Now, all of these tabs affect the geometry in the current file, and at the moment are also affecting the linked file. And the reason for that is if you click over here where it says Revit Links, currently the restaurant file, its display settings are being controlled by the host view. So that means that all of these other tabs, whatever settings are configured there, are also applying over here. And we're getting a live cut through our linked model, which is why it displays so oddly. Well, if I click this By Host View button, that will give me some options. And By Host View is what we're currently set to, but we also can do By Linked and Custom. So I'm going to choose By Linked View, and that will give me a list of the views within the restaurant file. Now, there's an enlarged dining room or an enlarged loft plan, or I can choose any of the other floor plans. So I'll just simply select the level 1 floor plan from the restaurant file and come down here and click Apply. Now, notice when I do that, everything now displays what seems to be a little bit more correct, right? So if I click OK and OK again, let's zoom in here. We're now seeing all the proper categories. We've got doors and windows. We're even seeing the annotation that's part of that floor plan view. So if you're satisfied with this result, it's as simple as choosing By Linked View, picking the appropriate view, and you're good to go. If you have a multi-story project, you just simply need to do that on each floor plan and tell each floor plan which level it should display from the linked file. And that can be really handy when you have, two multiple story buildings linked together, but they don't share the same level heights. Now, if you want to customize this in any way, you've got to go a little bit further. So, for example, I'm seeing this underlay here of the site plan, or, maybe I want to change the level of detail, or whether or not I'm shading in the walls, or just any of the graphical settings for the way the restaurant displays, I would have to go to VG and further customize what we're seeing here. So to do that, I go back to VG and go back to Revit Links. I'll click the Buy Linked View button now, and another option is to display it custom. Now with custom, you get a variety of settings here on the first tab that you can configure, including things like view filters, the view range, phasing and so forth, color fills. So the view range has two options, by host view and by linked view. Well, we really wouldn't want by host view because that would set us right back to where we were and cut it much higher than it's supposed to be. So we're going to leave the view range set to the linked view. But what about some of these other settings? Well, currently its detail level is coarse. Well, if you wanted to, you could change it to medium or to fine, and it would begin showing the internal components inside those walls. And that's just a simple example, right? Let's set it back to coarse. You can also go to these other tabs, and instead of by linked view, change this to custom, and now you have complete control over the visibility graphics of the linked file. You could turn on and off objects at the category level. You could customize the projection and cut settings, etc. If you didn't want to see the tags within that linked file, you could go to annotation categories, set this to custom, and then decide which tags you don't want to see. So maybe I don't want to see the window tags in this file. So I'll scroll down, I'll uncheck window tags and click apply. And that will hide the window tags within that linked file. Now on the import category tab is where you would find this site plan information, because that's actually a linked DWG file. So again, I would change this to custom, and then I could just simply uncheck the DWG site plan, click apply, and that would hide that site plan. So when you're done customizing and you click OK, you'll have the final look that you're after, and each file, most importantly, is going to be cutting using its own settings. So the host file is using the native view range settings that are within it, and the linked file is using the view range settings that come from the linked view that we assigned it to in Visibility Graphics.